just a quick FYI, if you did not see the after credits scene, stop this video, pause the video, whatever, and go watch it. Because what I'm about to talk about is some heavy spoilers if you haven't seen it. And so just go watch the after credits scene, because there is a scene after it, and it's very important. So now with that being said, did that really just happen? Did that really just freaking happen? Did Elle just get stabbed? Like, okay, first things first, Alasand, or however you pronounce his name, Assand, whatever, okay? Fuck him. Just right off the bat, fuck him. He is a despicable piece of shit after this episode. I didn't like his character before because of just how he was so whiny. He was just a whiny character. And I did like how he got a little bit more of the spotlight in the last episode, but I didn't think it'd lead to this. This man straight up murdered Elle in cold blood. Just goes out of nowhere, stabs Elle, and then Elle falls over, bleeding all over the place. See blood coming out and all that, and oh my god. That man he's an ass. That is a asshole move he just pulled in that one moment. I really do hope he gets executed after that. Like, oh my god, that man he's a jerk. Oh yes, he's a pile of shit. So, I wonder how angry Azazil's gonna feel about that, and also Jonah, how is she gonna feel about her son getting stabbed? Sophia and all that, seeing that, just everyone, Nina. I bet you right now that they're not gonna know that it was like the Assand dude. They're probably gonna assume that it was like the king's assassins or whatever, and they're probably gonna take the fight to him, and Nina's gonna be really pissed off, because remember, right now in this episode, she feels like the king was actually trying to kill her, and she's very hurt about it, which I'll talk about. So she was very hurt, and so she might think that also Elle or Mugro, he got stabbed by the king, and then she's gonna be pissed off and go try to kill him. That could be where the next episode leads us, since it is called Vengeance. So, yeah. Anyways, though, besides that quick little scene, let's talk about how good this episode was in terms of art and animation, and how disappointed I am that, once again, this series is not popular. It really pains me. It really, really pains me that this series is nowhere near as popular as some other series from this season. It makes me upset. It really does. Because you could see that Studio Mappa has put a lot of passion into Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul. They have put so much time, so much quality into it. And the art, animation, a lot of the animation and art is all completely hand-drawn. It's not CGI or anything. Even the dragons and stuff, you'd expect the dragons to be all CGI, but it's not. And it just really astounds me how this series doesn't get praised for how quality it is. But even then, people pass on this series because they're like, I just don't want to watch it or whatever. And it makes me upset, because one of the big reasons why I think this series isn't popular right now is thanks to Anime Strike picking it up. Amazon picked this series up, and the schedule for this series can be very atrocious at times. I mean, the past 2 weeks, it's been doing pretty good on schedule. I'm actually happy now that this episode was on schedule, but still, the series has had a lot of issues because of Anime Strike and its delayed episodes and stuff, and it can turn many people off from it, especially if you don't want to pay a double paywall. And then, on top of that, Season 1 and Season 2's long gap between that, many fans from the original probably don't remember Season 1, and they just don't want to start Season 2. I mean, that's a big thing here. And so I'm kind of sad that this series isn't nowhere near as popular as it was when it first came out. I remember when Shingeki no Bahamut, you know, the first one came out, Genesis, I remember it was popular. It was a really popular series. I remember it was one of the biggest series I was reviewing at the time. No joke. It was one of the biggest series I was reviewing at the time when it came out. And it saddens me that this series has lost that popularity. It's depressing. It really, really is depressing. But, besides that, though, I just want to say that even though many obviously don't care as much as they used to about this series, I still love this series, and I am really, really happy that Studio Mappa put so much effort into this episode. You can clearly see the love and passion that they put into it, and so I am happy. So, with that being said, let's talk about the actual Nina scene. So, Nina, she's facing a massive dilemma right now. It's a dilemma that would pain anyone, especially if you were in her situation. We know one of the big focuses, especially for the second half of Shingeki no Bahamut, is that Nina has started to fall in love with the king. She has fallen in love with him, and she's trying to change him. She's trying to wonder what type of person he is, and she's doing anything in her power to continue to love him, but also figure out why he does these things and try to change him. We know the king has done some very heinous things. He has done some evil things. He's done some awful things to all sorts of people, and honestly, he probably can never be forgiven for the things he has done. However, Nina tries to see the good in him and tries to love him, and she has done so much for him, tried to do so many things for him, and in this episode, when her back is against the wall, she believes these people that were sent towards her were people sent to try to kill her thanks to the king's orders. And you gotta imagine how she must feel in that moment. If you were in love with someone, and then they tell you, you can never see me again, like we'll never see again or whatever, and the next moment, you have it to where you're being hunted down, about to be killed by, these soldiers that work underneath the king, you're gonna believe him. You're gonna be like, oh my god, like, he's really trying to kill me. That's gonna crush your heart completely. It's not just the fact that Nina's first love, like her first true love, was the king and he was a cruel person. It's the fact that the king tried to kill her. And, this is like the worst type of breakup you could possibly have. So, I feel very bad for her, and especially when she tries to hide her emotions from, Muguro in this episode, when she's sitting there crying and he pops up and she shows him a smile and all that. You can see how her nose is red and she's been crying, but you can see she's hiding her emotions and all that. Number one, it shows that she doesn't want to show weakness or sadness to Muguro or anyone else around her, but at the same time, though, it just shows she's trying to hold back her emotions and lock them up within herself and not show anything. And I feel very bad for her. I really do, because her character, we've always seen her bubbly and all that. She's happy-go-lucky. She's always putting on a smile. And she has carried the series, especially the first half of the series, since, Father and Kaiser wasn't really the big spotlight. She has carried the series. And with her faking her emotions, putting on a forced smile and all that, you're like, damn, it's sad. This character that's always happy and ditzy and all that, acting like that. You're like, wow, you could just see how much he cared about the king and what he just did to her. He crushed her heart. He completely just smashed it into a million pieces. So, she's going through a hell of a lot right now. I feel bad for her, and I do believe that the king didn't order the execution. I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the king probably did not order the execution. If this would have been like the earlier stages with the king, like earlier part of the series, I believe he would have. But we do know that the king has fallen in love with Nina. We do know that he doesn't want to falter away from his path, but he definitely loves her, and I don't think he can initiate a kill order on her. So it's obvious that the Onyx Knights, they probably went out of their way. They attacked Nina, and what he was saying was just to make Nina completely separated away from him. And when he walked up and, said to the king, like, hey, we killed the Red Dragon last night, it was basically him testing the king, seeing how the king would really react if Nina was to die. And so, that scene right there, that was a powerful scene to show that it's obvious that the Onyx Knights, they were going out of their way to do something behind the king's back, but also as a test against the king, but it's also to show that the king never really wanted to kill Nina. And so I feel like Nina will eventually find this out, especially probably in next week or the episode after that, because of Muguro's apparent death. Remember, like I said, most likely the king is going to get blamed for Muguro's death or Elle's death, and so Nina's going to rush in, and then she's going to find out that the king was innocent, and then also he was innocent about the kill order on her, and she's going to be like, oh shit. So that's probably a thing. That will probably happen. Anyways, besides that, the fighting scene with Kaiser and Favreau, excellent scene, not just because of seeing these two fight together, which is awesome, but the fact that the hand-drawn animation and how their fighting styles are. When Favreau pulls out, like, his knife and gun and all that, and you have, Kaiser, he pulls out his, like, sword and all that out of his arm. Just really badass stuff. I like how they were working together. It reminded me of the classic Shingeki no Bahamut Genesis series, and just to see these two working as a pair, I always start to fanboy. And speaking of Genesis, once again, we have another flashback to Season 1, which every time I see that, I get sad. I get this tightness in my chest because Amira died, and the way she went down and all that, we know Favreau feels so much guilt. He's very guilty for what happened. And what we've seen, he's carried this with him, especially in Season 2. And every time he looks at Nina, he remembers himself, his younger version of himself, and he doesn't want Nina to go down the same path he went down, or the guilt he feels. And when he's remembering certain things and all that, you can see the sadness in him, especially when he decides to fight and all that, when Nina's in trouble and the king's apparently trying to kill her. He gets up and tries to fight. I was like, oh my god, this is a really emotional moment. So, Favreau having that little moment in flashback, it just makes me sad, but I like the nods to Season 1. It just lets us know that Favreau is still pained by the loss, and he's still trying to overcome that, especially when he's trying to be secretive and not tell anything about, Nina to the others and all that, and about her relationship. He's just, being the kind mentor and all that. It shows he deeply cares, and he's trying to look out for her. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.